We're getting there, people. It's Friday night. Got a little treat for you to start. Welcome, everybody. And just to let you know, I'm drinking this tonight. Set list. So there, gotta like that. I gotta kill my audio here before I get going too far. Oh, we're going down again. Watch out. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Okay, it's Friday night. I woke Ben up. But anyway, Eagle Park Brewing Company out of Milwaukee.
Eagle.
Eagle Park. Eagle
Nobody wants the
Park.
Eagles.
That's why. See, I was thinking. And set list. Then I played a song. Actually, I listened to a bunch of your songs today when I was bored at work.
Well, you should listen to them when you're not bored.
Oh,
You should listen to them when you're bored, when you're not bored. You should listen to them whenever. I actually listened to one of my songs today at work too.
nice.
I listened to Riptide today. I was feeling
Oh,
Riptide. I don't know why, but I was like, I need some Riptide today. So that's what I listened to at work.
I was doing some monotonous stuff and that didn't require a lot of brain power. So I was like, I'm going to listen to my bros' music while I do this stuff over and over and over. And it worked out pretty good. But it got me in the mood for some more Counter Void. Welcome in, everybody. Bruce, Eric, Hoppy Brown Ale tonight. Brown IPA. Crown Royal straight up for Bruce. Eckes is here having a Hillsboro Friday night lights Oktoberfest, but it's almost gone. Then some different bells. Okay. Well, I just found this one. Set list, Eagle Park Brewing Company, American IPA. Not a lot of good things about being an American these days, but this American IPA is one of them. And being a Packers fan is one of them. I have a question, a philosophical question tonight once we get kind of all the regulars in the chat because I really want to hear from people. So I got that coming out a little bit later. I was wondering about Packers fans. I need their perspective. But, Packers are 8-3, playing the Philly Eagles, who aren't supposed to be very good, but their defense is kind of okay. And, of course, you can get beat by anybody in this league, no doubt. Ben, what's your background tonight? What is that?
What?
What is it? Is it
What's my background?
Is it the Falcon?
Hell yeah, it is.
Woo! How'd you get a Falcon background?
So I got the last Star Wars one.
Oh, from Jesse?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Mandalorian today.
Oh, yep. Are you still fired up to talk about Aaron Jones running back comparisons? Did you do that?
Yep.
Okay.
I
only have one fired up thing to talk about, and I don't know. It's kind of slamming certain media guys again, but they say dumb shit all the time. I'm dumb stuff. Whoa, sorry, dumb stuff all the time, and it makes me mad. Sorry about that, you boob, and YouTube. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, what do we got for topics tonight? We got to talk about the additions we didn't talk about the other night. Tavon Austin. It'll take him a few weeks before I'm sure he's incorporated into the offense because he probably doesn't know what he's doing yet. Unless they just, tell him what to do. Hey, run this way or run straight or whatever. But he's a faster guy. He's there. Another guy. How you doing, Bernard? The game scares you again. Bernard, happy cookie day. Is that true? Is it really happy cookie day? Dang, why didn't I have a cookie today? What's wrong with me? Oh, wait, I did. Yes. I had a chocolate chip cookie today. That's right. How could I forget? It was very good. Very good.
I didn't have a cookie.
Although pretty much every day for me is cookie day, if you didn't realize.
Somebody ate my last zebra cake, though. And I think I know who it was.
Uh-oh. And Eckes wants to chat with you about the Mandalorian, the last one.
Yeah, nah, he don't want to. He just...
Okay.
He does that a lot.
Okay. All right, well.
For 27 years, he's been saying we need to write a fantasy novel together. So he does that a lot. Like, hey, Ben, we need to do this. Hey, Ben, we need to do that. Hey, Ben, we got to... Yeah.
You guys still... I think you should start with that, co-authoring that Packer song that he was talking about.
Yeah. Beers and old and about the beers moldy or
green and gold. Beer is cold. Moldy. Ben is old. We already had those. That's like the whole chorus. It's down. Just
but Eckes is
filter in the rest
so
of the stuff around there. You're done. What?
Eckes is older than me, so that doesn't work.
But you seem older. You're an older soul.
No.
All right. Well, whatever. Oh, God. I'm
Oh,
trying.
people are saying it
What,
to
what we got?
skip on
Pretty
Twitter
much at
that
the same.
Eric Dahl says that people on Twitter are saying that me and Eckes need to talk about the Mandalorian today. Well, that's
Ooh.
all right. Thanks, Rick.
Ooh.
I'll make sure that we listen to the people on Twitter about talking about the Mandalorian. Just skip.
What were they saying to skip, Rick? Happy. Was it really about the Mandalorian? Was it about Happy Cookie Day? Was it that being scared of the Eagles? Or was it something else we said? Or is it about the Packers song that Eckes and Ben are supposed to write, co-author? I don't know. We can get into it later.
Grump beer.
Not too much later though. We're gonna try to stay on point. Now I have to say,
We don't. I just woke up.
I
I
know
don't even know
Ben
what's
just
going
woke
on.
up. We got to get some structure to our shows. That's what I've been told. I've been told a couple of things.
Ah,
The masses have spoken. The sponsors have spoken.
we got a sponsor. That's right, Menon. Does Menon even exist anymore? Remember back in we were kids and they had that Menon commercials where it goes, bye, Menon, or whatever.
Oh, but
What is that? Wasn't that like an underarm deodorant or something?
I don't know. Something weird's
Does that even
happening with
exist
your audio.
anymore?
I think you're actually in the Millennium Falcon. Are you? Because I think it just heard like spaceship sounds and some other weird stuff happening. Are you
I don't
actually?
know.
It's not even
Sounds
a
normal to
background.
me.
You're actually in the Millennium Falcon.
Sounds normal to me. Does something sound weird?
Now you sound fine, but it got kind of scratchy and staticky. It was like I can't even replicate it. Anyway, I thought you were actually in the old Falcon just a minute ago. Oh, apparently you're missing the vulgar chats. I don't know. That's what Rick says. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not dialed in either. I let me just say.
Uh,
Oh, I have to tell everybody this. Okay, here's what happened. Okay, I watched about a week and a half ago. I watched the Office Space, not The Office, Office Space, one of the best movies of all time.
Never seen it.
Oh my god, such a great movie. Anyway, I think I was, if you know the movie, I think I was also hypnotized by watching the scene where Peter got hypnotized and, or hypnotized. Oh my God, I can't even talk. Hypnotized. And I took that attitude with me all week to work this last week. It was pretty weird, but also kind of great. And I kind of understand. Ben, you would love parts of that movie for sure. You really, really, and truly would. Because they have these consultants come in. They're going to kind of downsize the company and all this stuff.
Oh, I know about that.
And he comes in and he comes in to, he's already been hypnotized. He's always stressed out and freaked out and all this stuff. So this guy tried to hypnotize him, but then he died before he could snap his fingers and unhypnotize him. And all of a sudden he was just in a chill state for this whole stretch of time. And he goes back to work and does whatever he wants, goes in late, shows up when he wants, blows his boss off when he's calling him, telling him to come into work for extra shifts and all this stuff. And then he goes into this meeting with these guys that are cutting, they're here to cut people and all this stuff. Sorry if anybody hasn't seen the movie and I'm spoiling it for you. Don't hate Bart Scott. He's not that smart. It's okay, Bernard. It's okay. Anyway, one of the greatest parts is then these guys ask him, they're like, well, what do you do around here, Peter? What do you do? It's like, well, usually I kind of show up about 15 minutes late. Then I just kind of space out and stare blankly at my computer screen for a while, about an hour. And then I just try to avoid my boss and, stuff like that. And he does, and then he's like, I actually think I do maybe about 15 minutes of actual work during an 8-hour shift. But it's so hilarious. Oh, it's so good. And then these guys are like, wow. And they're like, oh, he's just not challenged enough. And then they want to promote him. And it's amazing. It's amazing stuff. Great movie. You should watch it.
That sounds like a lot of places I've worked. Let's take the guy today. Like, you know what? I got to say it.
Go ahead.
Today I went into work and I'm busting it. I'm not really busting it, but I'm continuously doing things. And there's other people that I swear to God, they just stood around and talked for an hour and a half at the beginning of the shift of work. Like they didn't do jack squat. And then they mosey on back looking for stuff to do. And then I'm like, hey, You can help me do this. And they're like, and then they walk out. And I'm like, and then they disappear for another half an hour. And then they come back and they're like, you got that ready yet? And I'm like, no, because I got 100 other things I got to get done here. You could have helped me to get your thing ready to do for you to do. But you didn't. So it's not quite ready yet. And they're like, okay, well, I'll find something else. And they leave again. And I'm like,
Oh man,
what is this? Like, how does that happen? And there's only one person who actually came back and then helped me do their job for me, like the job that would be my job. They'd help me a little bit so that they could do their job, because they can't do their job until I get my job done, kind of thing.
mm-hmm.
Okay. But yesterday, day before, when I was supposed to get all the stuff done with a bunch of other people, they pulled some of my people to go do something really dumb that could be done any day at any time. And then that pushed us behind by like about 2 hours. And that's why the first 2 hours today at work, there wasn't things for the people that normally come in the next day to do the things that I get set up for them to do. And my team of people that I work with wasn't ready because they had pulled half my team for a good 2.5 hours yesterday to do something stupid. So we were like at 2 hours behind. And instead of helping me, the people that would have to do the thing that's there for them to do, they could just help me by doing something. They just wander around and talk. And then when I suggested to the first couple who have been there longer, they were like, ah, ha, ha, and left. And then the one person who was the newest one was the one who actually was like, oh, okay, I'll help you do that. And that was that. But anyways, enough of that. It was dumb and it's stupid, and I get where you're coming from. And watch. And those are the people that'll be, the ones that walk around and do nothing are the ones they move up and up and up and up. And then the guys that do stuff and find things to do and whatever are the ones they just leave where they are, because they're like, well, those people actually do what they're supposed to do. So we got to make sure we keep them there.
Right.
So that's what happened to me my entire life is,
I want to lose that production.
Oh, wait a minute. You actually do what you're supposed to do. We can't afford to move him from there because he does the stuff that we need him to do there. So let's move this guy who slacks off all the time up to this spot, because if he doesn't do his job, well, that's okay. Because we'll find some other schlub to go in there and do that for 20 minutes out of the 8-hour shift. But if Ben leaves, well, then who's going to do that? Oh, my God. We can't have that. So you stay there, Ben. You slack dog. You move up and do nothing. Okay, back to you. I don't know. I'm sorry.
All right. Hey, if you guys got any, sorry, I didn't mean to stir us on about our works, but I'm kind of checked out. I got to say it. And I'm usually really diligent and hardworking and take a lot of pride in my work, but I'm kind of checking out.
Hey, we are live on TV here.
I'm
doing
doing
stuff like that. This is going to come back around, bro.
I'm doing what I need to do, but I am.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of checking
out.
Nope.
Nope.
After
the show's done, you better go back in and edit it out.
Nope. It's
Wow.
the truth, bro. It's the truth. Hey, if you got any stories or concerns or want to lay out any complaints about your work, throw them in the chat. We got to get caught up. I'm gonna do a better job. I'm gonna do a better job of monitoring chat tonight, keeping up with you guys. We try to keep up with you because we got a couple things we want to talk about. We want to keep up with you. What you want to talk about? Yes.
I gotta tell a story. Ekis just brings up a great story.
Hold on, Bernard wants to get into some Packer stuff.
Not yet. It's time for Ben's story.
Hold in there, Bernard. Hang on, buddy. We'll get to Packers. We'll get to Bart Scott and Aaron Rodgers and whatever else. Oh, I guess it was Skip Bayless's birthday and people were being mean to him. Well, they should be because he sucks. It was also Aaron Rodgers' birthday earlier in the week. He's 37 now. So
yeah, guess what? You know who else's birthday it was? The guy who gets no freaking respect. Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones' birthday this week?
The same birthday as Aaron Rodgers. And everybody's like, it's Aaron Rodgers' birthday. Hey, everybody, it's Aaron Rodgers' birthday.
Aaron Jones is the same birthday?
Hey, everybody, it's Aaron Rodgers' birthday. Guess what? It's Aaron Jones' birthday too. Jerks.
Really?
There's more than one Aaron on the team, and there's more than one guy who's got a birthday on the same freaking day. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of Aaron Jones getting no respect.
I forgot with how productive Jamal Williams was. I kind of forgot about Aaron Jones.
Wouldn't even start. Anyways, so we're going to do this story. Ekis says he worked circles around me at Soft Tubs. Now, Soft Tubs was a store in the mall where Ekis worked, and he got me the job there. And the reason why I got that job there was because the job I had before that, a guy tried to kill me, and I quit after only 2 weeks. But that's a whole nother story I'll tell some other day.
I was not allowed.
But for now, we're going to talk about the soft tub story.
All right.
So, Eka sold a lot of soft tubs. I didn't sell as many. But that's not the point. The point is, Ekis would goof off and slack off all the time. I busted my hump there. But there was one time where I had to go to work after school at college, and I was hungry. So on the way there, I stopped and got Chinese from the food court, and I went all the way, and I went to work. And it was like 3:30-ish or whatever time I had to start. And the manager was gone. The owner wasn't there. Nobody. It was just me, the only person at the place. And I probably did ignore you, Bruce. But anyways, so what happened was this. There's two things that happened. At 3:30 on Fox was Beast Wars. So I watched the Beast Wars cartoon, Transformers Beast Wars, while I was eating my Chinese, ignoring the customers. Unless they came up to me, that was fine. But otherwise, I ignored them, and I was eating.
Yep, ignoring Bruce.
And I was eating. I was so hungry, and I didn't chew enough or whatever. I don't know what happened, but I got something caught in I got the rice caught in my throat, and I was trying to get it down. And I was drinking, and it wouldn't go down. And I was like, oh my god. And I'm like, oh geez, I felt like I was gonna die, and I was like, oh my god. And then I quick ran out. And the cashier area was right in the middle of the store. And I was running to the back because there's a bathroom there. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to throw up or I'm going to die or I don't know. And I'm running around. And as I'm getting through the aisle, some lady starts walking up to me. And she's like, excuse me. And I was like, and I barfed and puked it all out right in front of her, all over the floor. This Chinese and whatever else, just like right in front of her face almost. But I missed her, but I got all over the floor. Okay. Then I kept running to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom, puke, some more up. Then I rinsed my face in the sink as much as I could, and I scrub my face and try to get all the nasty because I have the silk stuff, and I have nasty puke breath. That's gross. I have a toothbrush on me, and I'm like, oh god, this is terrible. Then I run out there and I grab some paper towels and stuff, and I tried to clean it up.
Oh,
the best I could.
Should have made Ekis clean it up.
And I kept doing that. And that was like 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I wasted. Didn't help any customers. Didn't sell anything. Just the worst. I was the worst employee at this place. At this day, for sure. Then finally I clean it all up, whatever. And I come back to the front and I get ready to go. And then I go to the cash area. And here's that lady waiting at the cash register for me to buy something. And I was like embarrassed as crap. And then she was like, I hope you're okay. Are you okay? Are you sick? I hope you feel better. And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm good. I don't know what happened. I'm just not feeling that great. And I made some excuse about how I was sick or something, even though it was just I got caught eating my Chinese while I'm supposed to be working. So that's the story of soft tubs.
So you sold?
Don't eat your Chinese when you're supposed to be working.
You sold the soft tub because you got sick and the lady felt sorry for you?
No. She didn't buy a soft tub.
Oh,
didn't you ever go to that store?
Only like once or twice.
We sold all that dumb crap. Nobody ever like your name on a pen and your name on a toothbrush and like over the hill, like 40, you're 40 and you're 50, you're over the hill. And we had all that kind of crap. And then we sold these soft tubs, which were portable hot tubs that sat above ground that you could, I don't know. It was weird. And then in the back, we had a bunch of like nudie magazines and nudies and like boob suckers and weird stuff like that. And the worst part was when little kids would always try to sneak back there, like teenage, like junior high kids. And I would hate to have to go back there and be like, get out of here, you dumb idiots, because we had a camera back there. But you'd have to go back there and yell at kids for go sneak. But they always want to sneak back there and be like, ooh, boobies and stuff like that. And you'd be like, get out of here, you idiots. Anyways.
That was good practice for you when you had kids, yelling at kids. That's why you're so good at it.
Yeah. Well, I like yelling at kids. But anyways, that was a terrible, terrible day. And I was ashamed of myself. And since that day, I've been nothing but a model citizen. at my employers. I've always worked hard and done all the right things. I've never eaten Chinese on the job before or after that ever again.
That's good. Good you learned that lesson. All right, let's get into. All right, it seems like everyone just intently listened to your story because there wasn't a lot of activity in the chat there. Eka said he drank Captain and Coke at work all the time. Great place to work. Soft tubs. Wishes he still worked there. That's what he said. Oh wait, he didn't say that part. I added that. All right,
Yeah.
Packers, let's go. We're almost half an hour into this show.
Really?
We haven't even hardly talked about Packers. Now we did say it was Aaron Rodgers' birthday, Aaron Jones' birthday. Rick points out Aaron Rodgers was born first, so that's probably why everyone's thinking about it. It was his birthday first.
So,
and then Aaron Jones just kind of got in there because he was born later. Plus, Jamal Williams took a lot of attention away from Aaron Jones and carries and playing time and all that stuff. So he's kind of the forgotten man. But it's all Russ Ball's strategicness to get him at a cheaper price. What we talked about earlier in the season, it's coming true. They're like, if his numbers don't look that good, we can sign him back for a little bit less. And that's what the Packers, I think, are going for. We'll get into that in a second. All right. One other thing. Let's see. Nothing else happened in the chat. I think I'm caught up. I know I missed some things sometimes. Let's see. Dad said something here. I always miss Dad's comments. I apologize for that, Dad. Mom and Dad are in here with the Happy Cookie Day. And I think we got it all. I didn't know it was Skip's birthday. Don't really care. I would have sent him a nasty gram too because he does suck. Okay. You know who else sucks? Should I get into it? No. Too negative. All right. Packers are playing the Eagles. We'll talk about that a little bit tonight. Not a lot because it's like, well, whatever. We played the Eagles at home last year. We lost. It was dumb. We lost should have been pass interference. Wasn't called. Defense wasn't very good. They couldn't cover tight ends. Got to be a little worried about that. Although, actually, with Christian Kirksey in there, I'm more than a little worried now that I think about it. Who's worried about Christian Kirksey? What do you think in the chat about Christian Kirksey? Nice guy, model citizen, but not a model middle linebacker, according to me, because he looks slow and like he doesn't know what he's doing. He looks actually, everybody talked about how he's familiar with Pettin's system and all. He looks the least familiar with Pettin's system. Like he knows what he's doing the least amount of the time of almost anybody.
Well, that's interesting. There's a on the touchdown pass, the one touchdown pass that happened in this last game, I think. There's a point where I don't know if they must have played zone, and Shannon Sullivan, after the play the ball snapped, and Shannon Sullivan is like pointing and telling somebody to do something. I don't know what it was, but he just let the guy go, and the guy did a quick slant. It was a touchdown. I don't know if it was this last game the week before.
Yep, no, it was this one where they were like trying to pass off.
Right,
the guy.
Kirksey was like standing 5 yards back in the end zone instead of trying to cover. You know what I mean? He was like in the end zone again, doing nothing. And then they showed after the game, they showed a cut screen, and here's Shannon Sullivan, and he was talking to Kirksey, like he was explaining what was supposed to happen on the play. Sullivan, who's like a second-year guy, right, or a third-year guy, or whatever he is, who's only been around for the Packers for the last 2 years.
Yep.
And he's explaining to Kirksey, a veteran linebacker, who's supposed to know this system inside and out, what's supposed to happen on this particular defense. Because when you saw their two faces, Kirksey looked like, ooh, and Shannon was like, dude, like, and he was telling him what's going on. So that scares me. Because either one, Kirksey has no idea what's going on, and a second-year undrafted free agent who's playing a different position knows exactly what he's supposed to do, then he doesn't know what he's supposed to do.
From Georgia State.
Right. Or two, Shannon Sullivan's just making crap up on the fly. And if that's happened, then everybody's just doing whatever, and there's no freaking organization to the whole defense at all, right? There's either one of two things there that happened.
Oh, goodness.
So which one is it? I don't know. I hope it's the fact that Shannon Sullivan is telling Kirksey what his assignment is on that particular play in that particular coverage and why he's not there. He wants to know, why aren't you there? When this happens, you're supposed to come and do this, and I'm supposed to stay here and do the flat or whatever it is. Because Chance Sullivan just being like, hey, dude, I'm going to do this. If this happens, and you're going to do this. Then it's just a random bull crap, and there's no freaking organization in this thing, and it's a disaster. We don't want that. But either way, it's scary, one way or the other, and they got to figure something out. And for God's sake, hopefully next year we will draft an inside linebacker in the first round or second round and not let this happen again, where we have nobody who is a playmaker type guy at inside linebacker.
We just drafted one in the 5th round. I think
No.
it's more likely next year might be a 4th. Maybe we'll go up to a 4th round middle linebacker next year.
Listen, if anything this year has shown us as Packer fans.
Oh, wait, we could have drafted a 4th round middle linebacker this year, but we traded that pick away so we could get.
Don't. But what I'm saying is,
all right. Sorry.
Between Darius Leonard, Fred Warner, the Demario Davis, both guys from Tampa Bay, Eric Kendricks. I mean, every team that's given us problems on defense this year has had a good, fast, and or smart linebacker, middle linebacker, right? And the teams that don't have that, we've steamrolled pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that say? The good defenses have a good inside linebacker and or fast inside linebacker who can mess stuff up and do stuff. That's awesome. And the Packers just don't do it. And for years and years and years and years, the Packers defense has been pretty dang crappy. So let's put 2 and 2 equals 4, right? If you have 2 bad linebackers and your defense is bad, that equals change something up. When you see other teams that have good defenses and they have fast inside linebackers who attack and do things, and they equal good defense, that equals let's do that. Let's not sign undrafted guys and draft guys in the 5th round and the 4th round, and that's your main guy. It's amazing that Martinez was what he was. And maybe they're all scared because they drafted A.J. Hawk with the 5th overall pick, and we all know he was average, a little better than average, and that was about it. But at least he was solid and he was there. I mean, he's better than these guys.
That's true.
Whatever.
All right, couple things. Getting back to the chat as soon as we said it. Bruce, of course, says cut Kirksey. He's always looking at cutting everybody.
Oh, they'll be cutting him.
Save $6 million. Okay.
Yeah, because he's supposed to make $8 million next year, and if they cut him, it's only $2 million on the cap.
There's no way he's back with the way he's.
No, they've got to get rid of him.
It's just that he shouldn't even be playing. Like, I don't understand. Okay, here's what I continually see, and he's not the only one that does this. Plenty of guys do this, and it seems like the Packers have more guys on their defense that do this than a number of other teams. But he's back. He goes into an area for pass coverage, let's say, and he just kind of hangs out in that area. He doesn't actually try to cover anybody. So all he's doing is taking up a little bit of space in an area where no offensive players are. I don't understand that whatsoever. I don't. There's defensive guys want to stop the offensive guys from being successful or from getting the pass or from being open or from getting yards. And the Packers have guys like him who just kind of stand there and occupy a little bit of space and don't really do anything. They don't come in and pressure the quarterback. They don't help there. They don't actually cover anybody in the field. So they're not helping there. So they're just standing there really doing nothing. And it's kind of frustrating. I just have to say it. And I don't understand, we get to some of the good teams offensively and they're going to expose this defense badly if that's the kind of play you're going to get from a key position in the middle. Now, I was encouraged by Savage's plays. We talked about that on Tuesday. I think we know what Amos is good at, and we hope that they'd use him more around the line of scrimmage and stuff like that. And let Savage roam and not be manned up on people. That's a better use of his time and abilities. But you still you got to have all levels of the middle have to be solid. And once you get to the second level, you're at linebackers, you need solid and speed. And when you're at the safety, you need solid and speed. That's how it makes a big impact for your defense. That's how your defense can go from being kind of middle of the pack to being top 10. And we don't have that at all. We've had weak middle for ever and ever and ever. And Blake Martinez was a good tackler, but he couldn't do it all himself. But he wasn't fast. He lacked the speed part. I mean, the most dynamic middle guy we had was Clay Matthews when they stuck him in the middle and said, Clay Matthews, play middle linebacker. And he's like, I
He was
don't want to
awesome at
because I want
linebacker.
to get sacks. But damn, he was good because he could roam around. He was fast. He attacked. I'll give Clay Matthews credit for that too. Like, he freaking attacked. Even if he blew it sometimes, at least he freaking attacked. I would pay to have guys that attack from the middle all the time, but we don't get it. All right.
So what happens if, like, what are they going to do against the Eagles? Now, the
Barnes,
Eagles offense is honestly, it's pretty sad. Like,
right,
their offensive line, like, they don't have either of the tackles that they're starting tackles. I don't think anymore. They don't really like I think I saw a stat where Carson Wentz, his guys have the most drops or second most drops in the league this year.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So his guys are dropping passes. They're not completing them, even if they are open, right? The only guy they can count on is Dallas Goedert. And then the other thing was the other day, one of our faves in the old days who wasn't fast and wasn't dynamic but has great hands, Richie Rogers got another Hail Mary, this time from Carson Wentz, in the game on Monday night. So Richie Rogers is still on the Eagles. That shows you something about the Eagles, right? And other NFL teams. Like, the value of a guy who, how many years has he been in the league now? It's got to be like 7 or 8 years, right? Something like that.
Yep.
And he was a very solid guy. He wasn't spectacular, but he caught every freaking ball that ever came to his way, pretty much. He had great hands.
Smart, too.
He had a good sized body. He knew how to shield himself, shield the linebackers to catch it, all that kind of stuff. And for a long time, he was our starting tight end for the Packers, right? And the Eagles already had Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, and they still went out and signed Richard Rodgers to their team a few years back when the Packers let him go. Because they value that position, and they value a veteran who can play special teams and also be a solid hands guy. And that's something that the Packers don't do either. They don't value a veteran like that to do that particular job. They just keep rolling in the young guys. Let the guy go, roll in the young guy, right? For those type of positions, which scares me. Hoping they sign Robert Tonyan back, but whatever. What I'm saying is this. The Eagles receivers aren't that great. The running backs aren't that great. Their offensive line is kind of stinky. Carson Wentz has just been terrible. He's like missed wide open guys. He's not reading the field. It's like he's lost all confidence in himself. And watching that Seahawks game on Monday night, he was awful. Like Mitch Trubisky looked better than him. Like that's how bad he looked. So if they come out in this game and look good, something's wrong. Because on the other hand, I don't know if you want to get to this part, but on the other hand,
well, Bernard's got an interesting thing off of that before you go to the other
okay, go ahead.
Because he says Wentz is bad without pressure, so don't pressure him. Like, don't bring extra guys. And so it's interesting, right? Because the Bears chose to rush 3 a bunch of times against the Packers in this last game and play coverage, right? And have all these guys in coverage, all 8 guys in coverage. Well, if you don't put any pressure on Aaron Rodgers, come on, man. He's gonna kill you. Those guys are gonna find an open spot. He's gonna throw it to somebody that's open, whatever. It doesn't matter. You got 8 guys out there, in coverage. But maybe with what you're saying about Wentz and what Bernard is saying, he has observed too, is that maybe that's, because a lot of it's 2 ways, right? Most quarterbacks, you want to pressure them to make a quick decision, and then you'd be manned up on guys, right? And you got to play it that way. But maybe for a guy that's struggling like him, if you play coverage, and hopefully with your 4, you get pressure, or you rush 3 sometimes, get pressure and stuff. If Gary's in there, and Za'Darius, every other, 50% of the snaps, he's working hard and doing it. And Kenny Clark wins sometimes, whatever. but maybe that's the way to go against him, because maybe his confidence is just so down that he can't, if there's a bunch of guys out there, he can't see when guys are open, because it all feels like it's not open to him. But if you pressure him and you're manned up and the guy beats your guy, then he can find, he can find an open guy that way. So maybe this is a game to not bring pressure, which is totally opposite what I would say to do most of the time. But maybe that's the case where he's at. It's weird, but maybe that's it.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched enough Eagles games to know why he's been so terrible this year.
Hopefully Mike Pettin knows.
But what I do know is he's got a lot of turnovers this year. A lot of turnovers. And the Eagles offense was not moving the ball against the Seahawks. But he's still an athletic guy. And the Eagles running game is not that good. But the Packers run defense is terrible. So if the Eagles start running the ball, and if they're able to move the ball running a little bit, that might open things up for Wentz. He's still an athletic guy. He can still throw the ball on the move. Whether it's accurate or not, I don't know. I understand why earlier Bernard said he's worried about this game. Everybody might be thinking, well, you guys, and I was worried about the Bears, and we creamed the crap out of them. But the difference is this. There's two things that are like Nagy with the Bears and Trubisky wanted Trubisky to take shots for some dumb reason instead of just keep running the ball, right? We went over this on Tuesday.
Plus we had Billy Turner, Ben. Rick is bringing up Billy Turner stuff here.
Okay, but we're talking about Packers defense against the Eagles offense right now. So I don't know why Billy Turner is.
You said the key, the keys against the Bears were that we had Billy Turner and they didn't.
No, I'm talking about Packers defense here. I don't know what Billy Turner.
All right.
I mean, I just woke up, but I don't know if you guys are on. If I don't know, maybe I'm not speaking properly. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, I don't really know. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen enough of the game. I haven't seen enough. I know this. Carson Wentz, at one point, just 3 years ago, was an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
He was destroying guys all over the place. He was the number 2 in the top 100 in the offseason after that year. Number 2 player. Ahead of Aaron Rodgers, who was
better,
like 11.
Better than Aaron Rodgers, yeah. Yeah. Just like every shiny new quarterback, better than Aaron Rodgers. And then all of a sudden.
How does that guy go from that to where he is now?
I don't know.
Where Brett Favre is going on Stephen A. and Nick McFarland's show and saying, hey, Carson Wentz needs to be sat down and go with the other guy. That's what Brett Favre said like a month ago or like 3 weeks ago.
Man, Favre.
And there was a lot of speculation that people were saying, well, Brett Favre and Doug Peterson are buddies. So maybe Doug Peterson was like whispering in Brett Favre's ear one day when they were talking. And then Brett Favre, can't keep his mouth shut. So he's out just like when he talked to Aaron Rodgers after the drafted Love. And then what did he do the next day? He goes on Rich Eisen and goes and blah, blah, blah about Aaron Rodgers.
Well, yeah, because it gets him
shocked about all this and blah, blah, flip, flop and going.
People want to talk to Favre again. He likes that attention.
Yeah, Favre is like the mouthpiece of he says the things that the other guy wants to say but can't. And then Favre just, maybe has a fleeting conversation about it. And then Favre was just like, blah, 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 and just yaps it all out to everybody, right? That's what everybody was saying.
What's interesting about that, though?
I don't know.
He's calling for Wentz to be sat down. I wonder if he goes back and looks at his career, how many times he should have been sat down.
A lot.
Yeah.
And he almost was, remember?
Yeah, Holmgren was ready.
Mike Holmgren. If he would have let the coaches decide, they had a vote. And the coaches voted for Mark Brunell to come in the game because Favre sucked. But Holmgren sat Favre down and he said, listen, I want to stay with you. I don't know why, but we're going to stay with you. We're going to go. You're going to ride this together. We're going to go up and win all together, or we're going down in flames together. But I'm riding with you. And he said, if the coaches had their way, you'd be sitting on the bench. Brunell would be starting. And that just goes and shows you that Brett Favre is the Beatles of the National Football League quarterbacks. And you're saying, what does that make any sense? I'll tell you what it makes sense. The Beatles were the biggest thing ever. And they had a bunch of catchy good songs, right? And everybody's like, the Beatles are the best. They're the best. They're the best. The Beatles are the best. And Brett Favre was the best and the best of the best. And then the Beatles come up with like Cuckoo, Choo and the Walrus and the Yellow Submarine and all these garbage crap songs that make no sense. And they're just like, hey, let's do a song where I do this with my armpit and then you will blow a whistle over here and you'll make a weird noise and all this other crap. And then it comes out and everybody's like, oh, the Beatles, that's great. That's a great song. Even though everybody knows it's bad, but you can't say it's bad because it's the Beatles, because they're considered the greatest thing of all time. So you have to be like, oh yeah, that's the greatest. It's the Beatles. It's great. It's the same thing that happened with Bart Favre, where Bart Favre throws 75 picks. And then you and I know this because you and I were the only two who were back in 19.
Tony Dungy knew it.
Okay, but you and I would be like, what is this? How is this guy still playing? How many times is he going to throw a pick and do something dumb? And we would say this, and everybody would be like, that's Brett Favre. Brett Favre. He's the best. He's the best. He just knows he's the best. And you and I were the only two that would like say that like truth. And nobody would listen to us or agree with us. And Eckes was a big Favre guy. He loved Favre, right, Eckes? And we had to try to figure it out. And then finally, after years and years, after Favre destroyed your hearts over and over again in the playoffs, finally then people started to come around and realize, maybe Favre is like the Beatles. He does have some great hits, but he also has some stinkers at really bad times. And that's why he's the Beatles. And the Beatles are great. And then the Beatles do like Cuckoo, Choo and the Walrus song. And that's like a Brett Favre interception in the playoffs. Cuckoo, Choo, throw you the ball. Cuckoo, Pikachu. So I don't know how we got onto that, but
it's a good analogy. That's good. Let's see. Let me catch up here real quick. Yeah, because Rick was trying to get people. Yeah, Rick. Dang, he's always trying to mess with stuff. Rick's whole thing was this. I'll give you the cliff notes.
Okay, let's hear it.
He's like, O-line is hot. Billy Turner is going to be riding high after shutting down Mac last week. Maybe it was all part of a master plan to screw over the Packers by convincing them Turner's worth a big extension.
Well, he's still got a couple years out of the deal yet, so.
Then Bruce says, please do not pay Turner. And then you can draft a guy as good, hopefully better. I hope you can draft. I hope if you draft the guy, he's better than that. And then they got into Wentz a little bit, just getting caught up. And then we can't look past the Packs, or can't look past the Eagles, of course. That's true, Bernard. We know that. And then Bernard says, Skip loves Favre. That's why he hates Rodgers so much. Yes, that's true too. One of the reasons. Plus, then he found that it got him a bunch of attention and he could make a bunch of money from that. And then Wentz, Bernard says Wentz reminds him of Favre. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Wentz is weird because everybody talked about, I mean, he's a nice guy and he's a good kid. And
yeah,
he was playing great. And then he got his leg all messed up. And then, he missed the Super Bowl and all that good stuff. But then he comes back in and you're like, I think he's still good. He should be still good. I always thought, look, there's a recency bias with all people, with all fans, but even the media has really taken to this too. All this, all these talking heads, whatever. And, as soon as somebody's doing well, he's great. He's the best thing. And then the guys have been doing it forever that are actually good and have proven to be good. Those guys get, shoved down the list. And all of a sudden the new shiny guys are the exciting guys to talk about. And Wentz was right there. They were talking about, that's why he said, he's better than Rodgers. After one good year, he's better than Aaron Rodgers, even though Aaron Rodgers has been doing this for how many years? And all these guys. And for me, like, come on, you got to play really good for like 5 years, and then we can start to talk about it. But not until you get to, that's why I'm not even like Mahomes. Come on. Like, Mahomes is great. Okay, he's doing great stuff. Let me see it. Let me see it for 5 years. Let me see him stay healthy. Let me see him play a bunch of games and keep it up. Then we can talk about Mahomes, not as the greatest quarterback ever, but then we can talk about Mahomes as being like top quarterback in the league. But for me, he's still not top quarterback in the league. Anyway, I just want to see a little more from guys. And I also want you to not forget, and as Packers fans, I want you to not take for granted what you have. Because Aaron Rodgers is damn good. And he's playing great. So enjoy that and appreciate it. Does it look the same as it did 10 years ago? No, it's different. But it's still getting the job done. And he uses his brain and he does all this stuff. And he still takes care of the ball, but he's still being super productive at the same time. And he's working with different guys that a bunch of people don't know of, a bunch of undrafted guys, low round picks, all this stuff. And he's making it work. The old line,
But it's what Rodgers wants.
That's what he wants.
Yes, on Pat McAfee, that's all
he wants. Smart dudes.
He talked about smart guys. He's like, you could have a really athletic guy, but I'll take this. Give me the smart guys. Give me the guys who are smart, and that's great.
That's why when they let Jordy Nelson go, he was not happy about that, and I wouldn't have been happy. I wasn't happy either, by the way.
Considering his replacement, it was Jimmy Graham for the same amount of money. Yes, the amount of money they saved by cutting Jordy was what they used to sign Jimmy Graham. So yeah, that was not an even swap of talent by any stretch of the imagination. But, there's nothing we can do about that anymore. Let's just finish up on the Eagles' offense against Packers' defense and say that if, for some unknown reason,
yes,
that the Eagles can somehow move the ball and do some stuff and score some points and whatever, that would be bad news.
Then what has to happen?
That's a bad look on the Packers. That's just a bad look.
Okay,
they stink all year long. They've stunk all year long.
Ben and the people in the chat. The Packers defense got 3 turnovers against the Bears. 3 turnovers, which stopped drives. They could have had another one. Kevin King, dropped the interception in the end zone. Okay, that's not going to happen every week, and it hasn't happened most weeks. The times they didn't get those turnovers are when you have to look at this defense and evaluate it. The Bears moved the ball on them. The Bears were doing that without really an identity. Like, they didn't even try to consistently run the ball.
They had 3 backup offensive linemen in that game too, the Bears.
So you should still be very concerned about this defense, despite, their middle of the pack in numbers and some of this stuff and blah, 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 because this isn't a defense that's great on forcing turnovers. Good teams generally take care of the ball, and you can't count on the turnovers. That's why in the playoffs, you don't see that many turnovers, and then that's why the Packers have faltered in the playoffs a number of times, because they didn't get the turnovers. And the defense was really predicated on getting turnovers. So you can't hang your hat on that stuff. So they got to be able to play solid defense. Solid defense comes from good players, but also people knowing what they're doing and doing their assignment. So please evaluate the Packers on what they did on those other drives against the Bears offense. And it wasn't great. It really wasn't. And then, yes, they've had some good spots where they responded to bad, field position and shut them down, or got a 3 and out. Okay, good. Nice, great. Sometimes it's because the other team stinks a little bit, or their quarterback does something dumb or throws it in the dirt or whatever. But sometimes they did something good. Okay. I'm not saying they can't do things well. They just aren't consistent. And oftentimes, I'd say more times than not, they're not doing things well. So that's alarming when you're playing a good team. Now, if they play the Eagles, who have struggled, and the Eagles are moving the ball on them, and this defense is giving up yards and points, how are you going to feel about that? What does that say to you about, even though the Packers are 8-3 this season? What are your expectations for the season?
I am not going to worry anymore about the deficiencies at this point.
You're taking it day by day.
Well, I just don't think there's anything that we can do as fans, right?
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, we have talked about it all in the offseason and all year, of what they need to do and how we wish they would attack and how we wish they would do things differently and blah, blah, blah. And they really don't ever do anything differently. And the thing is, it's enough at this point. If the offense keeps scoring on just about every possession, which is what the Packers have been doing in the games they've won, and they hardly ever punt. I mean, they go for it on 4th down all the time. usually get it or don't. I don't know. A lot of times they get it. They got against the Bears, they got them all, but not every time. But they hardly ever punt. They just go for it all the time because LaFleur is just like, we're going for it. We're going for it, which is fine by me. That's cool. But, if they keep scoring 30-some freaking points a game, the defense doesn't matter. As long as the opposing team will screw it up every now and again. The only biggest problem is when the defense can't get off the field and then we go a whole quarter where we have 3 plays because we went 3 and out and the defense is on the field the entire third quarter because they can't stop anybody and they're letting them dink and dunk on us and, taking like the Vikings game where it was 16 plays or whatever for a touchdown and 19 plays to get a touchdown. And they chewed up all the clock. And then next thing you know, we're down or whatever. And because we had one bad offensive possession where the opponent doesn't have any bad offensive possessions. So what we can do as fans is be excited. Go back to I said this last week where I'm just going to have to just not be upset because we've seen it and there's nothing we can do. So we know what the problems are. Forget about that for this year. Now, in the offseason, we'll talk about them. And we'll freaking be like, let's change this crap. But for now, this is what we've got. So let's accept it. Let's root for the guys to do the right things and to make a couple plays here and there, which is what they can do, and then move on. Because that's all we can do with this defense. Is pray that they'll at least get a stop every now and again. And the offense has to keep being that machine that it was last week, where it's just like, nah, we're not stopping. We're going to score every gosh dang time we have the ball, except for the one time where they got that holding call and then they were, in bad shape there and had 3 dumb plays in a row. I mean, when it's 1st and 20, why are you calling a freaking Mercedes Lewis screen pass or whatever? I mean, all right, I don't want to get into that right now. But anyway, so there you go. Defense, it's what it is, but they can't look really bad this week. Because the Eagles' offense is terrible. So if they look bad this week, then it's another one of those things where it's just people are going to be calling for freaking Pettine's head. They already are, but I mean, it's going to be worse after this if they stink. Let's hope they do good. Let's hope they make some plays.
I want to see it too, though. Like, they can make plays. They can make some plays. And really, if the offense is that efficient, all they need to do is make a couple of stops or a couple of plays in the game where they stop the other team from scoring. Okay. And then you can outscore them. But I just want to see them look like they know what they're doing. Even if they're not that good at doing it, at least look like they know what they're supposed to be doing and that the defense is designed to at least not have any big holes or leave guys uncovered or whatever. So, that's what I want to see. I just want to see it. I want to see it simplified so the guys aren't confused. They know what they're doing. There's no question marks, and they can at least try to execute what's supposed to be done. Now, I have one question for everybody in the chat too, but I want to get to the comments here. Let's see. Bruce just says exactly what you said. If Pettin continues to sit back and play a bunch of yards off, the Eagles move the ball, which we don't want to see that. But Bruce also says the Owls is just going to have to continue to score 30 to 40 points every game to help the defense. Yes. And how they do it is important. That's why I love the game, the first couple of drives against the Bears where, it wasn't big in plays. It was methodical. It was possess the ball, take the ball down the field. We know we got this. We're running plays at work. We're going to have a successful drive here and we're going to keep the Bears on the field. We're going to run time off the clock. We're going to wear them down. I love it. I love playing offense that way. I love the big plays too. That's great. But for me, like a well-executed offense, that's just more that takes more life out of the other team than hitting them for a big play. Okay? So I love that offense. I hope they can keep doing it like that over and over. Now, let's see. Ekis likes your positive attitude, which is great. The other thing I want to say is I have one question for everybody. We're talking about how well the Packers have been scoring offensively. If the Packers offense could play a game against the Packers defense, how many points would they score?
Probably 45 because they take the foot off the gas in the fourth quarter.
They do kneel downs.
Because that's what they do. They'll bring in 4 tackles and a guard on the offensive line and give it to Aaron Jones 4 times, and he'll make a guy miss and get 13 yards on the second play, but then he'll get stuffed on the next 2. Oh wait, that happened. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, Bruce says 60. I was gonna say, yeah, somewhere in that neck of the woods too, 60 points.
Oh, Rick is saying over 100. I don't know. They might. They'll have to get the basketball scoreboards out just for that game. Well, here's the thing. If let's go to the offense here against the Eagles defense.
All right.
Watching that Eagles defense on Monday night, that was no joke, dude. I'm just telling you right now.
What?
It was like remember the Jaguars game?
Yep.
Where the Jaguars came out and they were hitting and they were moving fast and they were attacking and they were like there was no, like Darius Slay was like, I mean, yeah, okay. By the end of the game, DK Metcalf had his way with Darius Slay. But that first quarter, he was inside Metcalf's head. Like he was beating the crap out of him and pushing him. And then Metcalf got pissed. There was one play, holy crap. It was a running play for the Seahawks. And Metcalf was run blocking. And Slay had gotten him so mad from the 2 previous plays where he couldn't get open that he just shoved the crap out of him and like beat the snot out of him after the whistle was done. And then Slay went back at him and did whatever. And then they called a penalty on Slay, which was stupid because Metcalf was the one who was pushing after the play was done. But Metcalf was like a giant specimen of a man, like a huge giant monster, right? He's like twice the size of Darius Slay. But the thing was, Darius Slay was in his face and like messing with him. And he took him out of the game for a little bit. Then it wasn't until there was a big play down the middle for a touchdown, or maybe down the 1 yard line or something like that, where Metcalf just beat him barely, and it was a perfect pass from Russell Wilson. And that was the first play that the Seahawks finally like made something happen in that game. Prior to that, they were getting stuffed. They were controlling Russell Wilson. They were attacking the line of scrimmage. They were stopping the run. They were covering the receivers. The Eagles defense is no joke. Like they play hard, and they've got some good defensive line and decent, okay linebackers that actually like attack, and they make up for if they don't have athleticism with want to. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't look anything like the Packers defense. These guys go after you. Like they look like the Jaguars. And the difference is the Jaguars had nothing to play for. The Eagles still have a chance to win their division. They're only down by a game and a half because they got that tie. So they have one less win right now than the other teams in their division, but they have to play all those teams again in the next couple of weeks. So all they got to do is keep winning, and they win their division. And a lot of people think they're the best team in the division because, like, as a total team. So they actually have something to play for, and they play aggressive, and they don't mess around. So the Packers, the key to this game is going to be the Packers' offensive line. Will they be able to hold up against an aggressive, punch you in the mouth defensive line and linebackers? That's the big thing. Because against the Jaguars, it was sketchy at best. And we need our guys to toughen up. We need them all to become Lucas Patrick. We need them all to play like Lucas Patrick this game. And Corey Lindsey's not going to be there. He's out for a couple weeks, right? So we got Jenkins playing center. Mm-hmm. We got Runyon Bunyan coming in, who's been playing great, though. I like him. I think he's a pretty tough guy. I think he's physical enough. He's no Lucas Patrick, but he's, I think he's probably a better athlete than Lucas Patrick. I think, to be honest, I think the big keys are going to be, will they be able to control that defensive line? If Fletcher Cox is going to play, he was hurt the last game against the Seahawks. If he's back, that's going to be a Hicks thing, right? We didn't have to face Hicks against the Bears. So we were, hey, sweet. We're going to run right up the gut. We're good to go. Woo-hoo. Well, okay. Eagles, even with their backups, they still attack and they don't mess around. It's a lot different than that Bears team. That Bears team we played was a team who gave up after like a quarter, not even. Like Khalil Mack was loafing it. The secondary didn't want to tackle anybody at the end. I mean, that's the last thing they saw when they played. Now they're going to start a game, and the defense is going to be smacking them. Darius Slay is going to be on top of you. You know what I mean? And
well, Devontae knows he's played against him. Hopefully he covers Devontae the whole time.
Well, then, I don't know. Because what if Rodgers is just looking at Devontae, and Devontae's doing triple moves and double moves, and by the time Devontae gets open, Aaron Rodgers is getting sack fumbled because Billy Turner can't handle his guy on the outside.
Nope. He's going to play like he played this one. He's going to go to Tunyon. He's going to go to Sadie's on the screen pass. He's going to go to EQ. Although I like to see some to MVS, and that gets brings up MVS too here as well. And MVS could be a key contributor in this game, I hope. But finishing
Well,
up with the
yeah,
Eagles defense, one thing I have about Fletcher Cox is to me he's always like a weird dude. Everybody raves about him, but every time I watch an Eagles game, I see I see like him flash a couple of times, but then the rest of the time I don't really see a lot out of him. Now I don't know if he's. I'm not always just looking at him
he
to see
flashes a couple times.
was he getting double teamed and all this stuff. I don't know every play, but he does play inside. So the thing that makes me feel better about that is the Packers' strength of the O line is inside.
Which
You
is
know,
hilarious to think about.
I know it is because they. I mean,
You got a 6th-round pick, an
right?
undrafted guy, and a 2nd-round pick in his second year playing center instead of guard.
Yep.
So not his position he was drafted at, and that's your best. That's your best guys. Even though you got the highest paid player on the offensive line, and a stink butt. I was going to say this too.
It's so weird.
I think. Remember watching the game the other day, and they had that little segment with Billy Turner's fashion designs.
Yep.
I think Billy Turner should have been a fashion designer. He's a better fashion designer than he is a football player. I
wouldn't argue on that. He's a smart dude. He's like I said, remember I said this before, and I really think this comes into play with Kirksey too. I think the Packers management, their staff, their coaches, all this stuff, I think they get enamored with guys who speak well, who sound smart, who know who give the right answers, like know what they're supposed to be doing, but maybe the play doesn't match their mind.
I don't agree with that.
Because Kirksey is like that. Kirksey is a smart dude. Kirksey's a great guy. Kirksey's all these things. But you watch him play and you're like, he might be the worst linebacker on the whole team. Why is he playing?
Then why do they let guys who are really good players and are smart guys? Micah Hyde, Richard Rodgers, Jordy Nelson. They let those guys walk and or cut them. So that's why it makes no sense. You can sign all the good guys that you want, but if you don't keep your own good guys who are actually good players and good guys and smart guys, what's the point? And we've watched too many good, smart guys that were good players and solid players walk out the door. Like TJ Lang. He was still a good player.
Yep.
They just let him go. Now, Josh Sitton, when they cut him, we all knew why they cut him. Because he was never that good. And Lane Taylor was better than him. And he's better than him now. And he's just always been better. Like, Josh Sitton was okay. But TJ Lang was a nasty dude who played hard. But they just let him go. And, and maybe he wanted too much money and they couldn't, match it or whatever. But for the money that Micah Hyde got, did Micah Hyde get break the bank kind of money? I don't think so, because he was the Packers. The Packers they have a thing against guys with wear number 33, where except for William Crappy Henderson, who was originally number 30 and then switched to 33 after they let Doug Evans go. But Doug Evans, Micah Hyde, Aaron Jones, all these guys, those three guys, great players, should have gotten a second contract with the Packers. Not a single one of them did. They let them all go. And, well, not Aaron Jones yet, but it's going to happen. I just know it. But I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about now. And so that's why I don't agree with what you're saying. Because if they believed in good guys who are good players, even better players, they keep their own guys like that. But they don't. They let their guys go and then sign some random guy who they don't even know. Right? He's on another team. And they talk to him. He's a good guy. Okay, let's get him in here. You don't even know what you got. When you had a guy who was there who was just as good or better, you didn't sign him. And you can't tell me it was the money, because I've seen the contracts of Billy Turner and Christian Kirksey's contracts. And Christian Kirksey's was one where this year he makes under $2 million or so. And next year he's supposed to make $8 million. But if they cut him, they save $6 million. So it's probably going to happen. Like, they signed him to, okay, we're going to sign you for 2 years, but it's really just a 1-year cheap deal, and we're only going to keep you for next year if you're any good this year. So he'll be gone. He'll be cut. There's no doubt about it. But, so yeah, I don't agree. I think it's just They don't make any sense. They don't know what the heck's going on. They got to learn to keep the best players, and they don't. But I don't want to get into that.
Maybe sometimes.
Get into, like, this team and what they're going to do.
I just mean they end up keep playing those guys, and I think it's because of that but they don't actually they don't let the tape, what's right in front of them, tell them what they should be doing, which is replacing that player and benching them. Because when they go to them and talk to them, they're like, say all the right stuff, and they're really smart, and they sound, whatever, and all that. They're like, okay, yeah, go out and do it better. And then the guy is who the guy is, man. Tape doesn't lie. Anyway, all right, what else you got? Anything else? Bruce is confident the O line is going to handle the Eagles D. They're not worried about the Eagles D, Ben. Most people aren't.
These guys aren't worried about the Eagles D.
But they should be,
They
because
should be.
Eckes has a good turd thing reference as well about the NFC East, considering the Giants at 4-7 are currently in the playoffs, the division leaders.
Yeah.
But the Eagles are probably the best team. I don't know. Who knows in that division?
Well, the Washington football team has got the best defense, and they got a really good rookie running back who destroyed me in fantasy football this last week because Mo got lucky again with.
Can we have a side note on that?
I don't get how he scored 180 points. Good God, he got 120 points from his three running backs.
I got a quick side note on that because HFF, our fantasy football league we've been doing for 21 years, is like coming down to the wire. It is crazy competitive this year. It's
6-6.
It's like parity across the board. There's nobody running away with stuff. Mo's had some pretty good luck. He's 9-3, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams at 6-6, another 2 at 5-7, fighting for, like, let's see how many playoff spots are left. 4 playoff spots, but it's crazy. I mean, it's really, really competitive, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's down. This is our last week of the regular season, and we're going to see what happens, but it's wild. I still think I'm probably going to get knocked out.
Fair to beat you. I need somebody else to beat somebody else.
Well, and points are pretty close with a lot of us too. Like for some of the tiebreakers, I got to check the tiebreakers on a couple things.
Nobody cares about this though. Hey, Lee's got something.
It's exciting.
Lee's saying Aaron Rodgers will hit 400 touchdowns with less than 100 interceptions, is what they're saying.
Yeah, for sure.
And only one other quarterback has over 200 touchdowns and less than 100 interceptions. Now, that is an incredible stat.
Yeah.
However, Aaron Rodgers is the bridge, I believe. Aaron Rodgers is the bridge between the change in the rules of the offense, where there was less chucking at the line of scrimmage, hands on the receivers downfield, all that kind of stuff. It happened like right about when Rodgers was taking over at quarterback. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with the NFL. Because as we know, I don't know if you know this, but during the last Chiefs game, Patrick Mahomes just took over Aaron Rodgers' spot as the highest quarterback rating in the NFL of all time.
Yeah.
Well, he did.
I know.
Based on a whole crap ton of, you have to have so many frickin' passes or whatever it is, blah, blah, blah.
It's only 1,500, yeah. It's not that
and he just took it over. And I'm just telling you, when you look at the numbers, teams are passing. They're not passing downfield. They're more dump offs. The scheme is better. There's schemes to get guys open, stuff like that. And it's going to be interesting to see where Rodgers falls after all this is done. Because I actually, in my opinion, and I know that you don't agree with me, but at some points in Rodgers' career, his unwillingness to throw the ball into tight situations, worried about his picks, because he was so happy. He really wanted to keep that highest quarterback rating of all time on his mantle. He would purposely not throw it in tight coverage and throw it away. That one season, 2018 season, he had so many throwaways. It was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, that was the Mike McCarthy crap offense. I'm not blaming Rodgers on that. I'm just saying,
okay,
there's been many times where he is the opposite of Brett Favre. We've gone through this many times. Favre will take the shot, take the chance almost all the time.
But he still gives you like big crazy plays like Favre. That's what I'm saying.
I understand.
For the people that love Favre and don't like Rodgers, I don't get it. Because he gives you.
I'm going to tell you something. Listen,
He gives you the crazy play. No, one thing before you finish, because
Okay,
you
that's fine. But I got a stat for you.
You
that's
give
gonna
me
make
the
you
stat.
say,
You give me the stat, but I gotta correct you on your Colin Cowherd reasoning. Colin Cowherd is the one that started pushing that. Aaron Rodgers is doing that because he wants to solidify and maintain his quarterback rating and blah 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 blah.
Right.
No, he's doing it because he knows the number one difference in winning and losing football games is turnovers. Turnovers, winning the turnover margin is the number one way to win a football game. He knows it, and that's why
And
he
why
wouldn't
is it that
throw
when
it
he's
into that.
down by 2 touchdowns in the second half of games, and his defense stinks, and he knows he's got to make something happen, he would still chuck it and throw it away on third down and whatever. Because he did it a bunch.
Because he didn't have anything. There was no chance.
And that's right. That's right. So instead of taking a shot to try to get the team back in the game,
He's done
because he
that.
knew he would, because he knew his defense was bad. So he was like, you know what? It doesn't really matter what I do because we're still going to lose because the defense sucks. So why should I take a shot at this and lower my quarterback rating by throwing picks? Maybe, possibly throw a pick. You might not throw a pick. Some guys just drop balls.
You want to know what? Mike
You want to know
McCarthy,
what?
Mike McCarthy, for his whole time, what did he emphasize? Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. Come
Doesn't
on.
matter.
His whole career.
I got a stat.
Matt LaFleur knows it too. The turnovers are the number one thing. You don't turn the ball over, you protect the ball. That's what they say is their number one job. So you're doing what you're supposed to do.
How many games where the Packers have huge leads in during Aaron Rodgers' career? Or how many games where how many games do you think there were where Aaron Rodgers was on a team that was behind in the second half by 2 scores or more? How many games do you think there was during his whole entire career?
I'd have to look it up. I don't know.
But just throw out a number. What do you think? There's 16 games a year.
I don't like to throw out
They're playing for 12 years.
I like to look up my numbers. I'll tell you this. You
all the games they've won and all the games that they've been ahead and they've won.
You finish your point. Go ahead.
No, I'm asking you a question. What do you think the number is? How many games do you think the Packers have been behind, in the fourth quarter by 2 scores or more during Aaron Rodgers' career?
Not that many times.
Not that many times. That's right.
Yeah.
So how many do you think it is? What do you think? Just throw out a number. I'm not asking you to be right or wrong. I just need a number so that I can tell you what I have my stat.
20 times. I don't know.
20 times. That is what I would think too. You got to think maybe 20 times out of all this, because there's 16 games a year. The Packers are usually above 500 team during most of his career, right? That's what I was thinking, right? I heard a stat a few weeks back because somebody was talking about Lamar Jackson, and they were saying that Lamar Jackson, his first in the beginning of his career, right? When he gets behind in games by 2 scores or more in the second half, he is 0-8 at the start of his career. Okay? The player who's been at the start of their career to go the longest without winning a game when they're behind by 2 scores or more is Aaron Rodgers, who the start of his career until the first game he finally won when he was down by 2 scores or more in the second half is Aaron Rodgers. Now, there may be a bunch of guys who haven't played as long and they just still haven't won a game that way because there's not very hard to come back from 2 scores down, if you ask me, in the second half. So let's just be honest here. Okay?
Especially if your defense can't stop anybody. But yeah.
So this stat shows you, number one, Packers defenses have been crap dog for Aaron Rodgers for years and years and years. So I'm not trying to blame that on Rodgers. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. But what I am saying is to back up my point that he is more concerned about his quarterback rating and the longevity of that quarterback rating than getting his team back in the game to win. Aaron Rodgers, to start his career, is 0-26 in games where he was down by 2 scores or more in the second half. When I heard that stat, I almost fell over in my chair. I was like, no freaking way. I didn't even think the Packers were in, like I said, like you said, 20 games in Aaron Rodgers' career where they were down by 2 scores or more in the second half. But it's happened, not only has it happened more than 26 times, the first 26 times that Aaron Rodgers' teams and the Packers were behind by more than 2 scores, they lost that game 26 times to start his career. And I'd like to know when that game was that it came back. I bet you it was probably the Bears game just a couple years back. where he came back in the second half and destroyed everybody. It was awesome. Because what do you need? To come back, you need your defense to stop somebody, which obviously the Packers defense can't ever do, right? But part of it is you need your quarterback to take some chances. And back in the day, quarterbacks took chances, and they did try to get their teams back, and they did do crazy stuff all the time. Rodgers doesn't do it. So as much as you, and I'm not, like I said, I don't want to turn this into me hating Rodgers because everybody thinks I hate Rodgers. Bernard is saying I got to stop being a jerk. Listen, I'm not trying to be a jerk. What I'm saying to you is this. There are times that I believe that Aaron Rodgers has two concerns on his mind. Keeping that highest quarterback rating, which he's very proud of, which is now gone because Patrick Mahomes has taken it over. And the second thing is being the superhero, making the superhero play. He loves to make the superhero play. And that's why this last Bears game, I was so excited because he was spreading the ball around to everybody. He was doing completions here, doing completions there. That 4th and 2, he was looking for Devontae. It wasn't open. He got off it right away and then found Tunyon on the freaking shallow cross. Boom, first down. Awesome. That's the Rodgers I want to see. But when he gets behind, and it's not a playoff game, and sometimes even in playoff games, he kind of gives up. I'm just saying it because you don't want to hurt his stats. And I know you think I'm a jerk.
It's not because
that stat proves my point. That stat proves my point.
Yeah.
And 26 at the start of his career when losing by 2 or more touchdowns in the second.
That's a convenient stat.
It's a great stat. It shows exactly what I'm saying.
It's a convenient stat. I want you to go and look at I want to know. I want you to
put everything on AR.
I want you to dig deeper on that. What were the final scores of those games? What were the defenses? Who were the players that were available in those games? What teams were they going against? Were they high pressure teams, good pass rush teams? Were the offensive lines stinky? Were the receivers bad? Exactly. There are tons and tons of variables, dude. But I'm telling you, Aaron Rodgers is not throwing it there because he's worried about his rating. He's not throwing it there because he knows that if you turn the ball over, you have no chance to come back. He knows that if you turn the ball over, you lose. And his coaches said that to him over and over and over and over again as well. Plus, he doesn't like making the mistake. So that's what it's about. That's
who's Aaron Rodgers. That's right. Who's Aaron Rodgers' favorite athlete of all time? Who's his favorite athlete? He talks about all the time.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. And what is Michael Jordan's famous saying?
I have no clue. He made a crap load of money and
says you miss every shot you don't take.
Oh, is that what he says? Okay.
You miss every shot you don't take. So if you aren't taking the shots to try to make your team come back and you're throwing the ball away, you're missing the shot because you're not taking the shot. And that's not like Jordan, who I didn't like anyways, but he got all the calls. That's besides the point. This is Aaron Rodgers.
He's taking
I like
some
Aaron
shots,
Rodgers. I listen. I hate to be the guy. Everybody thinks I'm a big jerk, but I got to bring the honesty to the world here. Okay. And the fact that, and I've been hanging on to this stat for 3 weeks because I've been waiting for the right time to bring it up. And this is the right time to bring it up because when I saw that Mahomes took over the spot of this highest quarterback rating, I was like, okay, now we got it. Now we got to figure it out. And then when Lee put that stat that Aaron Rodgers is good to have 400 touchdowns and less than 100 picks.
Yep.
It's a great stat. It's awesome. It's insane. But how many other guys are going to also do that now?
If they stay healthy and they play that long. If they stay healthy and they play that long.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's part of another part of the accomplishment part. Like, give me a break. These guys, that's why I don't love this recency bias and the shiny new toy stuff. Like, that's why for me, those guys aren't even with Aaron Rodgers because they haven't done it long enough for me. I can't. Show it to me for at least 5 years, then we'll talk about it. Because you don't know. The fact that he's been able to stay and play that many games and do all that, he had 2 collarbone breaks, which threw off some really good seasons he had going. Like, okay, but he's still come back from those and still playing. And he's awesome. And he does a lot of great stuff. So yeah, you could say this or that. I'm just telling you that whole thing the stat that you bring up is very narrow stat without a lot of depth. You need to have more depth with it in order to dig into that scenario. Because I've done this too. Because a lot of people, it's forever and ever they're saying about how few comebacks Aaron Rodgers has had and blah blah blah, fourth quarter comebacks and all these guys that had, and of course Cowherd likes to throw that out there where he can throw like Andy Dalton in the conversation by Aaron Rodgers with number of fourth quarter comebacks and these other crappy quarterbacks, and Matt Ryan's got so many more and blah 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 blah. But the point of all that is there's a whole lot more to it. So I went and I started looking. I'm like, okay, well, what does his play say? You can find these breakdowns. You can find these breakdowns about play, by quarter. You can find the breakdowns of, number of touchdowns, quarterback rating, number of interceptions, all this sort of stuff, completion percentage by quarter. You can find that. You can also find that sort of stuff in scenarios of down by 7 points, even, ahead by 7 points, down by 14 points, up by 14 points. You can see all those stat breakdowns in the right spots. It used to be easier to find that online. Now it's harder to find the right sources that have those breakdowns. But I went and looked at a bunch of that stuff. And his fourth quarter stats, and when you look at it, regardless, they're still very good. So it's not that he's not playing in those games where they're down by 14 or not trying to come back. He is, and he's still playing well. Just the team wasn't good enough to come back.
No, I know. I mean, that stat is approving of two things to me. Okay. The fact that he has not had a good defense ever.
No.
I mean, somebody brings up in here, Brady had 13 top 5 defenses or something during his career with the Patriots.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers has only had 3 top 10 defenses during his time with the Packers.
Yep.
And one of them, he won the Super Bowl. Right? And I get it. I'm not saying like that he sucks. I'm just saying what I said, and I'm not going to talk it again because I don't want you to get you mad. But
you have to re-examine your. It's fine to say that, but you have to think about all the other factors, and you have to re-examine your reasoning. You're putting yourself in his head, saying you think he's doing that because he's trying to protect his quarterback rating, which is a bunch of bunk. That's a Colin Cowherd argument that started to be circulating around, and people are trying to think that's it. No, he's doing it because he knows if you turn the ball over, you have no chance. If you don't turn the ball over and you throw it away, maybe your defense will make a play. It's not likely, but it's better than if you turn it over.
He's talked extensively about how important that highest quarterback rating of all time means to him.
Well, of course.
And how his low interception, touchdown interception ratio means to him.
But that's the way he plays. He's not going to take unnecessary risks, especially at times when he knows
sometimes you need to.
He makes the
when
mistake.
Your team is stinky on defense, sometimes you got to take a shot. Listen, it's the Brett Favre factor. How many times we go over with other Packer fans back in the day, right? And everybody be like, "Hey, Brett Favre," and everybody be like, "Why do you guys hate Brett Favre?" It's like, well, because Brett Favre, if you put him on a good team, he's probably going to be the reason why you lose 2 more games that you should have won. But if you put him on a bad team, you're probably going to win 2 or 3 more games than you should have lost because he made something happen out of nothing and did some crazy crap. And he took the shot.
It's fair.
I think Rodgers is the exact opposite. I think Rodgers on a good team, he's going to win you 2 more games than you would have won with any other quarterback because he's so good and he's so smart and he's able to manipulate the defense and do exactly what he wants. He will win you 2 more games than you would have won otherwise. Like if your average win, let's say a really good team is like 11-5, right? He'd make you 13-3, like last year. Last year's Packers team was probably like a 10-6, 11-5 team, but Aaron Rodgers made it a 13-3 team, right? But if you put Aaron Rodgers on a stinky butt team, that should be like 5-11, because of the way he plays, they might end up being 3-13. And you're thinking, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. But I think it's true. Because he's not gonna take the shots. And it's in the stats. It's in his voice. It's in what he's talked about. Listen, did you know that Aaron Rodgers doesn't warm up before the games?
Yeah.
You know that Aaron
That's what he
Rodgers
says.
doesn't throw in the offseason?
Yeah, I know that. Gotta
He doesn't even throw in the off. He's like,
step away, man. Gotta step
I'm so
away
good.
from it.
I don't have to throw in the offseason.
He's kind of like me this last week at work. I just had to step away from it. I mean, I was there, but
He's throwing all the time
I wasn't there.
because he's not as talented, and he knows he's got to work as hard as he can to make stuff happen. And then everybody rips on Brady now,
He's definitely not as talented.
saying that he sucks. Blah blah blah.
And he's definitely
Listen.
not.
Everybody thinks I'm a Rodgers hater. I am not a Rodgers hater.
That's
I
not
am a
true.
Rodgers realist.
Oh, you're a hater.
A Rodgers realist.
Hater.
I want Rodgers to be the Packers quarterback for another 5 years.
Well,
I want to go back
lucky.
in time and have us draft Queen, so we had a good inside linebacker and a guy who makes plays. But we can't do that anymore.
He's going to be, Ben. He's going to be. And we'll save our
Bernard's getting mad at me.
don't
be mad at me.
We'll save our thing for the offseason.
I got to keep it real, bros.
Even if the Packers win the Super Bowl this year.
You think they're going to win the Super Bowl with this defense? There's a chance, and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it if they do. I'll tell you.
I have told you and everybody, there's still a chance. There still should be hope because yes, you don't know because breaks can happen in games.
Yeah,
breaks can happen. And if Aaron Rodgers is playing great and the offense is playing great and they're scoring a bunch of points, of course they can still win. The defense is bad, fine, they can still win, and they can do tactical things to slow down the other team by possessing the ball. And they have shown they can do that. They can win with the big play. They can score quick. They can take their time and score. That's fine. They can change their approach to do it. But what I'm saying is, even if they win the Super Bowl, it will be in spite of the terrible draft, despite the terrible GM job that's been done for the last few years by Brian Gutekunst. So the one thing I cannot continue to hear, which people continue to say, which drives me up a wall, is how they're trying to be like, well, maybe the Packers were just geniuses for drafting Jordan Love in the first round because look at how well Aaron Rodgers is playing. Shut up! Like, that doesn't make sense on any planet. This is like everybody's putting Rodgers playing at an MVP level. A bunch of them are trying to credit that to the competition of drafting a first-round quarterback that he was pissed off. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's great, and maybe this is his second year in the system, and maybe all the stuff that he's been saying about how in the offseason, when they didn't have the regular offseason, but they had these long Zoom calls, and him and Matt LaFleur and Nathaniel Hackett and even Getsy could get on these calls and talk through the offense and really break it down because they had extra time to do it. And that's why it's working so well. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not because they drafted a player that they're not even using or multiple players that are doing any benefit for him. Maybe that's not why Aaron Rodgers is playing so great. Maybe it's because he's really great and he's in his second year and they diagnosed the offense and said, let's get rid of these plays that don't work. Let's get your input, Aaron. Let's get everybody on the same page and let's make this crap work. Maybe that's it. Just maybe. But if I have to hear another former player or a stupid media guy say that same dumbass thing again, I'm going to want to just punch him through my TV screen or my computer screen or my phone or whatever it is because it's the stupidest argument of all time.
See, but the only people that are saying that are the people that when they drafted Jordan Love, they were the ones who were excited about, or not excited, but they were like, see, told you, Rodgers is on the decline and the Packers front office knows it. And that's what they all said. So then when Rodgers came out and dominated and played great, the the to back up their narrative is that, oh, well, that's what it was. The GM was so smart. He drafted Jordan Love so that Rodgers would get, kick in the butt and start playing like he used to play again because he was too complacent. That was the reason why he sucked. Blah blah blah. Because anybody who didn't like the Jordan Love draft pick is not now saying what you said. It's the people that were on the narrative that Rodgers is on the decline. And then when they drafted, for the last couple of years, they're saying that. And then the Packers drafted Jordan Love, and then they used that as a reason to, add to their point about how Rodgers on the decline and the Packers know it, and then blah, 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 and then all this kind of stuff. So that's the only people that are saying this crap. So it's people that are dumb in the first place. And I mean, listen, I know I seem like a jerk, and I know people get mad at me, but we've been told by Nick many times when two people have a show and they disagree on everything all the time, it's boring. I'm trying to spice things up a little bit. I've got some stats. I've got some things I've looked at. I mean, if you ask me, who would I rather have, Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers? I'm going to say, if you gave me 10 games, I'm going to pick Aaron Rodgers in 10 games. And I'm going to have Brett Favre on the bench. That's just the way it is. You know that. Now, I'll have Matt Hasselbeck and Aaron Rodgers. Then it might be 5-5. It all depends on what's going on. I don't know, because I'm a big Matt Hasselbeck fan. But that's besides the point there. But what I'm saying is, I've never been a person, you know me, I don't exactly follow what everybody else does. Okay. I don't exactly agree with all the narratives. I like to look at a situation, analyze it, see what I see, and then throw an idea out there that might be a reason why. Okay. I'm probably wrong, but I'm just saying these are things I've seen. I've heard Rodgers talk about how important that interception number is to him and how important the quarterback rating is to him and that stat and all these things. And it's just an observation of putting things together that, makes it look like something that maybe possibly could happen, but I could be wrong. And I don't want everybody to hate me, but I'm just being honest and trying to spice it up a little bit because you love Aaron Rodgers more than you love your own brother. And I'm just trying to, get us on the page here. Okay.
That's true.
I mean,
I can't help it. And the more I watch him,
Mom and Dad should probably adopt Aaron Rodgers. Right
I love him. I love him even more. The more I watch him, and he talked this week.
What? You love him even more than me now? Even more?
Yep. The gap is getting bigger. Because I think he's I think he's, I don't know. I just like what he's doing. I like the way he's talking about stuff. I like how he's more open now and not as concerned about saying the right thing all the time or what he's supposed to say and just being himself. And he's still a good dude, does a lot of good stuff. He says, he's on the right, my side of things on a bunch of social issues and other things. And I just think he's a hell of a player and a great person. And the Packers should feel pretty fortunate to have him. But anyway, I just can't handle that dumb argument anymore. It drives me up a wall.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, the Packers draft picks, if I don't love him more than I love you, you dumbass.
I know.
Listen, the Packers draft I made the statement and I want to go back. I'm going to go back to my one show from many, many moons ago before this. I made some predictions in one show. We played this game. And do you know that the Packers are getting the least out of any of their draft class of any team? And if Runyon wasn't put in the game because of injuries, they would be getting it would be that much further behind every other team in terms of the impact of their actual this year's draft class. It's insane. It's totally insane.
It's actually.
So if they somehow pull this off and win this, Brian Gutekunst should still be fired, even if they win the Super Bowl, because they would have won the Super Bowl with the least impactful draft of any team in the whole league. And that dude should be fired. Anyway.
I got to say something to Eckes. Eckes says the Giants beat a lot better New England team to win the Super Bowl. That's part of the argument against you, Ben. Too many factors. AR not taking chances is only a part of it.
They can win.
Eckes, you just proved my point.
It's just
the Giants didn't even have the team. The Giants didn't have a good enough team. They took the chances.
They had good defense, man.
They had a good defense.
Pass rush.
And their quarterback
Tom Brady throw a ball. Tom Brady
quarterback had to throw a ball with the guy hanging on to him into the middle of the freaking defense, right in the middle, and a guy had to catch the ball on his helmet just to make that play. You think that 9 times out of 10 that would have been intercepted and/or it would have been strip fumbled or whatever. But
Ben, you act like Aaron Rodgers doesn't take any crazy shots. He takes plenty of shots.
I'm not saying that.
Yes, I know. So get over it. You're trying to spice it up. I get it.
Just getting something going.
Let's see. All. Rick wants. Hold on. Bruce says he's not mad at you. You're just wrong. That's correct.
Yeah.
Rick says I don't think Eckes was talking before. Well, he brings up about Funchess. I don't think Funchess would have made much of a difference. I mean, it depends with all the injuries and stuff, but I just don't see him as being a difference maker. Plus, I think he's got suspect hands, and they got enough of these guys. Has anyone else seen this recently about how many double clutch catches
Yeah.
the Packers have had? Mercedes on his touchdown last week, Devontae repeatedly, like all these guys, just they don't
Sternberger had one too. Not
MVS
this
on
game, but
his bomb against the Jags, that was like the perfect pass. He still jiggled it. I mean, catch the ball, guys. Like just the only guy that catches it straight, you know
Onion.
who it is. Tunyon Funyon.
Onion.
He'll get his hands on that puppy.
Well, I'll say this: the signing of Tavon Austin
ball.
is just proof in the pudding that Goody should have drafted a goddamn wide receiver, at least one.
Yeah,
and a wide receiver with some sort of return ability. That's all we needed. We needed a jitterbug guy, and now they needed a jitterbug guy because their return guy's hurt, and they picked up Tavon Austin, who hasn't played in a year, and who knows if he's going to be any good or whatever. And it just shows that maybe we should have, drafted a guy who could, out of the 35 wide receivers that were drafted or whatever the hell it was, in the greatest wide receiver draft class of all time. And I didn't want to bring that up because I honestly thought MVS was going to have a breakout year this year. I said that before the season started. I'm very happy with Lazard. I thought that was a good trio with Devontae, those three guys, and I like the tight ends. And I thought we didn't really need a receiver. But as a return guy, we did need a return guy for sure. And that was something that wasn't addressed. I mean, yeah, Irvin was signed back, but we've seen return guys don't always last the whole year. You need to have more than one guy who can return freaking punts and kicks for you.
Well, and I think
that's just whatever. We'll see what this Tavon Austin signing does, and hopefully it does spark plug something,
If I'm not mistaken,
he's supposed to be fast.
If I'm not mistaken, that Irvin injury happened on another one of these late hit kind of plays that wasn't flagged. It seems like I don't understand why the Packers have so many guys take cheap shots on them and they don't get flags. Guys hitting guys 5 yards out of bounds,
face masks,
piling on like after the whistle's blown. But I'm pretty sure Irvin took a big shot either way after he was out of bounds or after the play was basically done and he got injured. That's how he injured his ribs because he's had the wrist for a while and now it's been the ribs too. Anyway, Irvin's injury sucks. It really screws with their offense. Maybe Austin can fill some of that void. There were a bunch of receivers. Hey, the Bears guy they got in the 5th round, that Mooney guy, he looked pretty good. The Bears don't have a lot, but that guy was playing pretty good. That was a 5th rounder. So
yeah, but he allowed himself to be covered by Shannon Sullivan and didn't go up and try to break up the intercept. He could have jumped up and tried to mess with Savage, and he didn't even try. So I don't think he was that good.
His last name's Savage. You can't mess with that.
Okay.
Dude,
whatever.
Savage, man. You don't want to mess with that. All right, what else you got? Almost done. Oh, Tavon Austin. I know we've been all over the place tonight, but it's Friday night. It's Friday night. And I woke Ben up from a deep slumber.
Yep.
And I had, people pissing me off in the media again. That Kevin Wildes guy. Shut up. Anyway.
I don't know if we're going to get to my Aaron Jones stats.
Dang it.
I had too much of I had too much. No, I did. I talked too much about Aaron Rodgers there.
I talked too long too. Aaron Jones.
I will say this.
It'll still be relevant, I'm sure.
Yeah, but these are stats based on right now. So.
Yeah, but I'm sure they're not going to give him 30 carries this game.
It's not about carries. I've said that. It's not about carries.
Or even he won't be on the field.
It's percentage of plays on the field.
You're still going to see it. It's going to be Jamal Williams pretty much halftime.
Well, it's freaking dumb. All right, that's it. I'm just going to go over real quick. Here you go.
Okay, do it.
Aaron Jones.
We're going longer. Hang in there, everybody.
Percentage when he's on the field at each game, 53.8, 47.9, 71 against the Saints. They won that game, by the way. 52.4, 57.1, 60.6 in the game that he came back against 49ers, where Jamal Williams wasn't in the game because he had COVID protocols and he had to sit out. 63.1, 50, and 53.5. So that's only 3 games where he had above 60% of snaps on the field on offense. And in one of them, Jamal Williams wasn't even active for the game. The 2 games Aaron Jones missed completely, Jamal Williams was on the field 88.7% of the plays and 85.1% of the plays. That is ridiculous. Now, number 2, Jamal Williams' stats have only gotten higher and higher and higher. 39.7, 42.5, 30.6, 57.1 when Aaron Jones was 52.4, 50.8 when Aaron Jones was 57.1,
Boo.
47.7 when Aaron Jones was 63.1. 50% of the snaps when Aaron Jones was 50% of the snaps.
Oh,
you know what game that was? The Colts game, and they lost it. 46.5 to Aaron Jones, 53.5 against the Bears. Now, that's very close. Only twice, and barely twice, was Jamal Williams on the field less than 40%. And one of them was 39.7, so I'm going to count that as 40. So only one time this year was Jamal Williams on the field less than 40% of the snaps as the backup running back. Now let's take a look at some of these other guys. Delvin Cook only has one game when he was completely healthy that he was on the field less than 60% of the snaps. And that was the first game of the year when they got blown out. He was on the field 58%. So they had Madison come in for mop-up duty for a couple times, right? And here's the other part. Madison was only in the game more than 30% in week 1 against the Packers in mop-up duty at 37%. Everything else was 19, 25. They're all over 7. There's a 7, an 8, and a 10. While Cook was 88, 81, 81, 80. He had a bunch. 80% of the snaps he's on the field because he's their best weapon. So he's on the field. Let's go to the freaking Titans. Henry. Henry's a little different because he's not a receiver, right? So he comes off more. But still, 75, 71, 75. He only had 1, 2, 3, 4 times where he was less than 60% on the field. And those were all above 50%. His backup, the next guy, on those games where he had less, that guy was at 39, 39, and 35. So I don't know if he got hurt or got tired or whatever it was, but his backup was in. But that's only 3 games. The rest of them, 71, 75, 68, 64. He's on the field a lot. And he's their main guy. So I get it. Now let's go to the Raiders for Rick.
Ooh.
Jacobs. He only had 2 games where he was on the field 3 games. He was on the field less than 60%. And one of them he got hurt in. So 59, 49, and 56. Otherwise, everything else is 60, 75, 67, 78, stuff like that. His backup, Booker, 13, 14, 7, 8. This is percentage, not snaps, but percentage of snaps. He only had 2 above 30, his backup. Okay? So these are all teams where they have a top-notch Pro Bowl running back, and their backup is on the field less than 30% of the time, the majority of the time, and their guy is on the field more than 60% of the time. Okay? And I'll do another one like that. Dallas, obviously, with Elliott. He's got everything's above 60%. And Pollard, everything's below 40. And the only time he had a higher than that was when Elliott would get stinky or whatever. So then I was like, okay, so let's take a look at, and then also McCaffrey. I have McCaffrey stats. He only played in 3 games because he got hurt. His first game, he was on the field 97% of the snaps, which means he was probably out for 1 snap. Okay. Then the next one he got hurt in, even though he got hurt, he was still on the field 64%. And then the game he came back and played, he was on the field 71%. So those 3, he's McCaffrey. Whatever. He's the highest paid running back for a reason. He's great. So then what I thought was, okay, I want to look at a team where it has a top-notch running back who's a Pro Bowl running back. And the backup is kind of a tough guy, but he also has been in the league for a while and he knows what's going on. So I looked at the Saints and I looked at the carries by the Saints. Kamara as carries, he has 128 carries this year. And Murray has 121 carries this year. So that would tell you, well, there's just the distribution of Kamara and Murray on the field is probably pretty close to 50-50, right? Based on their carries. But Kamara, of course, is part of the offense more in the passing game, right? Okay. Well, that's not the case. Kamara has got 66%, 68%, 67%, 67%, 76, 73, 78. Then he goes 51, 66, 49, 48. So I don't know if he got hurt in the last parts or if they're not using him as much. Plus, it's the Taysom Hill offense. The last couple games, 49 and 48. So that maybe he's not in there as much because it's Taysom Hill. Whatever.
Well, they definitely had a big lead in the last one too. That could be a factor,
right? But the bottom line is there's only 3 games below 60%. Okay, and they were the last couple of weeks. 2 of them were the last couple of weeks. Murray is only on the field 34, 27, 34, 41, 28, 33, 24, 40, 41, 49, 47 the last 2 weeks. So in the Taysom Hill offense, Murray's getting more carries. And he's on the field more. But what this tells you is even though they have almost identical carries for the season, Kamara is still on the field more than 60%, more than 65% of the time on the majority of the season because he's an offensive weapon that the defense has to worry about. So even though he's not getting the carries, and he is getting passes thrown to him, yes, but he's on the field. Aaron Jones only had one game above 65% of the snaps where he was on the field. Only 3 games where he was above 60%. Aaron Jones, the guy who scored 20 freaking touchdowns last year. So all this, and then Jamal Williams, 88.7 and 85.1. The 2 games where Aaron Jones was hurt and didn't play. And the game where Jamal Williams wasn't played, Aaron Jones still only has 60.6%. And I know he's coming off an injury, but McCaffrey came back, had 71% of the snaps, and of course he got hurt right away. So maybe that's why everybody's like, "Oh, he got hurt. That's why I didn't play him." Well, whatever. They sat Aaron Jones for 2 weeks when he could have played, and they didn't play him, even though he could have played. So he was healed up just fine for that 49ers game, and he looked great. So all this tells you is this: the Packers are just not playing him because they want to sign him for cheaper. I'm hoping that's all there is. And if they let him go, I'm going to be so freaking mad. Because it's obvious they're trying not to. Jamal, who'd you rather have, Jamal Williams or Madison? They're about the same. Actually, Madison, I think, is a more dynamic runner. What about Murray? What about Pollard and his speed? Booker, he looked pretty good for the Raiders, Rick. I don't know. What do you know? What do you think? Is Booker or Jamal Williams better? I don't know. I haven't watched all the Raiders games. Maybe Rick knows. But Jamal Williams is getting way too many snaps. And he's getting complete drives. Or complete, and then 2 drives in a row sometimes in the second quarter. You'll see Jamal Williams out there. And then the next drive, you'll see Jamal Williams out there again and no Aaron Jones. And it's like, now they're moving the ball sometimes, but sometimes they're not. And in the games where they needed Aaron Jones to be in there, like in that Saints game, they need him in there 71% of the time to win that game because that was a close one. And there's other games like the Colts game where it's 50-50. You don't think you could have used some Aaron Jones in the second half? Yeah, we could have. So I don't know if it's a conspiracy against Aaron Jones. Everybody forgets that his birthday is the same day as Aaron Rodgers. Everybody talks about Aaron Rodgers' birthday. Not Aaron Jones' birthday, apparently. Aaron Jones never has a birthday because it's always Aaron Rodgers.
You said it a while ago, dude. It's the curse of the 33.
It's got to be. So that's my stats on the running game. Aaron Jones getting screwed by the pack.
Doug Evans.
Well, here's the other thing. Hey,
Micah Hyde.
Cook got paid, right? So he's playing. Henry got paid. He's playing. Jacobs is a young guy. So they're going to play him because Gruden's going to play him. Elliott got paid. He's playing. Kamara got paid. He's playing. All those guys got paid the last offseason or the year before. So they're playing all the snaps because they're paid. Aaron Jones, not paid. They're trying to hold him down so they don't have to pay him as much. And it's ridiculous. If Dalvin Cook got paid and is getting all these carries, Aaron Jones should get paid and get all the damn carries and dominate. I rest my case. Back to you.
Well, the other part of that number curse is what number does Jamal Williams wear, Ben?
What? 30.
Yeah.
Use the William Henderson curse.
Yep. It wasn't William Henderson 33 initially and then got rid of it?
No, William Henderson was 30 and Doug was 33. And then when Doug left, William Henderson asked to change his number to 33. Oh. And they let him do it. And then a crappy fullback change his number out of request.
And then his playing time went down after that, I think.
No, it went up.
Oh. Well, he still sucked, though.
Because that's he did suck because Dorsey's numbers went way down. Because they went from playing Dorsey 11s out of single back set with no fullback in front of him, and he had 5-some yards of carry and destroyed everybody. To the next year, they let Doug Evans go, and William Henderson got 33, and then they put Dorsey in the eye behind William Henderson. William Henderson couldn't block me, and somehow he's a Packer freaking Hall of Famer and was on the team for 10 years or whatever it was, doing nothing. He was the most useless freaking guy we ever had. John Kuhn is a way better 30.
That's true. William Henderson was not great. Well, all right. You make a good point, but the curse of the 33 still lives. And I told you before, because you were asking all this stuff about Williams. They know they're not going to sign Williams back. They're trying to help make sure he gets a contract with another team. And that's why they're trying to showcase him more this year to make him seem like he's important and a good back. Now, he does fill a role for the Packers, but his role should be reduced, and Jones' role should be much larger. And I don't get all the stuff they say. And even they contradict themselves. I don't know who's making the running back substitutions. If it's Ben Sermons or somebody else, I don't get
No,
who's
it
making the
is.
running back substitutions because
It's not
like
the floor. It's the running backs coach.
because they even had a drive against the Bears where Williams was in most of the drive. And then all of a sudden, because I was texting and I was like, where the heck is Jones? Is he hurt? He better be hurt because I haven't seen him forever. They brought Jones in for like 2 plays and then Williams came back in.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
I don't get it.
I like Jamal Williams. He's fine. There's nothing, he's not going to break one off. He's not going to do anything dynamic, but he's solid. He protects the ball. He's a tough runner.
He can pick up the blitz.
He's a good blocker.
He's not a bad player.
No,
it's just
there's too much of him compared to a guy that's much more dynamic and can make big plays.
Well, there was a game a couple of weeks back, right, where they played them both at the same time a bunch.
That's fine.
It worked. It was great. Yeah. Actually, no, I think that might have been the Tampa Bay game. Now I'm thinking about it, and they lost. But I don't know. But either way, I mean, when they put Jones in that slot motion guy, the Irvin spot, that was not a good slot for him. He was not good in that slot. He just wasn't.
And Williams was a running back. Yeah.
He's not a slot receiver. Okay, he's just not. He can run some routes once in a while, and he can catch the ball out of receiver spots when it's a trick play. Fine. And I'll say this: where are the plays downfield for Aaron Jones? He's getting all these dump offs. It's weird. The other thing that's weird is okay, out of the 46.5% of plays Jamal Williams was in the last game, he had 0 targets in the passing game.
Oh, that is weird.
He had 17 carries, but he had 0 targets in the passing game, and he almost played 50% of the snaps. And Aaron Jones only had 2, and one of them was just Rodgers throwing at his feet when he was getting pressure, with the second play of the game, which was stupid. Then luckily Aaron Jones ran for a bunch of yards on the running play and got first down. Thank God for him. But yeah, no targets for Jamal Williams in that last game. So I don't know. What's he doing in there?
Lee says he thinks Jones takes some hard hits every game. He's really good at avoiding hits. I
think he spins and he doesn't get hit as hard as he. You know what I mean? He kind of he could see it coming and he kind of spins weird and make sure he doesn't take the full blow. It's kind of like when you fall from a far distance and when you land, you kind of spin or whatever to make the hit not hit you all the way in one spot. I guess
he does bounce up. He's like, hey, there you go, the ball.
And he's the man.
He doesn't do like Williams though and seek out the hits. Like Jamal Williams will get 9 yards downfield and then he's got to find out how much dog somebody's got in him, as he said. So he'll try to run into guys instead of maybe running.
Well, that's good too. Some
more yardage sometimes, but not when it's
because
you want a first.
Maybe it made those guys in the Bears game at the end of the game not want to tackle him, but he scored a touchdown on that, right? They didn't want to get any part of him. They were like, forget it, and they let him get in for 5 yards. They were just hugging him, like, hey, we'll hug you as you run in the end zone for 5 more yards.
They should have kept Clinton Dix. If that's how they want to play defense, they should have kept him, man. He fits in perfectly with that stuff. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, either way, game's at 3:25. So a little bit later, we got to wait. Sometimes I just want I like these noon games. I don't like waiting around all day, but I don't know. Then I got to do other stuff. Then sometimes I do something productive, but sometimes not.
Well, I think it's a nationally televised game, so I'll get to watch it. So that's good.
That is good.
So I like it. Because if it's a noon game, I probably can't see it.
All right. Well, better for you then.
It might not be on around here.
Set list was very good. Set list was very good. So was Black Unicorn. And we hope that's all I got for you this week. You got anything, any parting shot, Ben, before we go?
Yeah, everybody, don't hate me so much. I'm not a bad guy. I'm just a guy. I don't like superstars. So I'm going to try to pick apart their armor as best I can.
You don't like, you know what? Giannis heard that you don't like superstars. So he just came out and made a statement. He doesn't care if he's like the star of the team. He doesn't care.
You see, but you know what I liked about his statement? He said
talked about everybody coming to Milwaukee.
Everybody coming to Milwaukee. That's what I liked. That's what I liked about that statement. Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee. He's like, yeah, LeBron came and everybody else guys came. I wouldn't mind being 4th guy on the bench. Or not on the bench, but 4th guy on the team.
All right, we got scores. I forgot scores again. Okay. I always forget. All right, give me the scores. Bruce, go. Everybody, scores. Bernard says 28-10. Pack.
Bernard, you got some. You're probably right.
Bernard, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Give us your scores. Everybody wants to give the scores. Bernard still says you're the man, Ben. You're still the man.
Well, I'm okay.
You do have to you gotta appreciate. You gotta enjoy how good Rodgers is a little more instead of picking so much.
I enjoy him.
All right. Fair enough. 27-17 says Rick, but he doesn't tell us who wins. Dang it, Rick. Ekis says 28-21 Pack over the Eagles. Ooh, I think it's going to be a tight one. 41-24 Pack. Whoa, Bruce wants a big one. And Lee thinks 34-23. I'm going to go with 35. Oh, Rick says Green Bay. 27-17. I'm going to go with Packers 35, Eagles 21. Nice and easy and clean. No field goals in this game. Packers 35, Eagles 21.
I'm going to say 38-17.
So don't start
21-point win. A 21-point win.
Oof.
Because I think the Eagles, you know who their defense coordinator is, right? The former Lions head coach, Jim Schwartz.
May the Schwartz
and
be with
you.
And
he loves to play man coverage and blitz everybody. And
yeah, he does.
If the Packers, that's what I'm saying. The Packers' offensive line is the key to this game. If they can handle whatever the Eagles put at them, like the Eagles are going to come at them right away. So it comes down to the first quarter. We'll know in the first quarter if the Packers can handle in the first quarter, they're going to crush them. I'm guessing. I'm seeing a lot of big plays downfield.
Ekis was talking earlier in the chat. Is this MVS no targets last week? He didn't say that, but he says, is this going to be a MVS resurgence game? And I think
probably because what are they? They're going to play a lot of single man, like single safety and man coverage, right?
Yep.
So I mean, MVS is going to have his chances, I think, and it's all going to come down to can the offensive line protect Rodgers long enough to get the ball past that 15 yards, like for the receivers get past 15 yards.
How about two?
So if Devontae does 27 double moves and
he's got to get going. He's got to get going.
Looking at him, we could be in trouble.
Yeah, he's got to get going. How about I'm going to say I want the over-under on – I don't want the over-under. I'm just going to make a prediction here. MVS, 2 big play touchdowns in this game. Two big play touchdowns, and I'm going to also say it's going to be a 2-touchdown game for one.
I think I don't know if it's going to be
Tunyon.
Okay, I don't know if it's going to be 2 big MVS touchdowns, but I think there's going to be 2 huge deep touchdowns in this game.
Oh, maybe one to Lazard.
Yeah, like Lazard will sneak out there like he did in the Saints game or something like that. Like I could see at least 2. I think it might be 3. Maybe not 3 touchdowns, but there'll be 3 plays in this game above 40 yards in the passing game.
Ooh.
Just because I think the Eagles are going to be super aggressive, and the Packers' offensive line needs to handle it, but I think they can handle it, and they'll be up big at halftime, I think.
You know who's good at winning?
They got to keep it going on the second half and not play freaking prevent defense in the second half. That's all.
Well, if they're going to be blitzing like that too and bringing pressure, if they can get Jones a couple of creases, he might hit a big one or 2 for a touchdown.
I don't know. Eagles defense is good against the run.
All right, we'll see.
They're sound in the attack, so it's tough.
As long as Lucas is in there, I feel good about it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, that's all we got for you.
He'll trip. That's what I'm saying. He'll be the long play that doesn't score, Rick. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you want to get Lazard. You don't want him running too much after the catch. That's he stumbles around a little bit.
Oh, we got a Joshua George sighting.
I know. Joshua George gave 31-13. Joshua George says, Pack.
Hey,
woo-hoo-hoo.
Are we getting stupid Aikman and Buck again?
God, I hope not.
I think it's their main game, right? If it's the 325
Probably.
game.
Can we just put in a request for alternatives or something? Hey, maybe we should do. Oh, we can't do it. Damn it! I was gonna say we should broadcast the game.
I know that'd be pretty good if you and I did it.
Ooh, I have to polish up my
masters. Your
play-by-play
would have to get better.
Have to get better. I gotta be focused again. I haven't been focused in 15 years, but I could try it.
We were one heck of a duo back in the day.
We'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll do should we do something after the game? All right, before we go.
Yeah, we should do a live something after the game.
Before we go, should we do a live post game? Because I see a lot of these people doing live stuff after the game. And I know we can be emotional and all that stuff, but maybe we should probably do it if we're good, if we're both watching the game anyway.
I think we should.
All right.
I have
All
off
right.
Sunday. I have off Sunday, so
We'll do it. We'll do it. Live post game, Hafeman Bros. Check it out. Catch you Sunday after the Packers win.
That's right.
Thanks, everybody. Win. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out, hanging with us as long as you did. And we appreciate you. Spread the word about Hafeman Bros. Maybe one day we get some money. Spread the word about Counter Void. And also,
it blows my mind that we can waste 2 hours of us just yapping for 2 hours. I can't believe that we didn't really. I don't know what even we talked about. I was sleeping.
Who knows?
You called me and woke me up, and I just got on. How do we waste 2 hours of talking?
I explained it to you that one time. I explained it to anybody that watched. We are great at filling time. That's why if you ever needed a long format radio show or hosts, hello. It doesn't matter what happens. Technical difficulties, whatever. We just keep talking. Our guests don't show up or the phone line cuts out or whatever. Who cares? We cover it because that's what we do. That's our one talent in life. Well, for me anyway, Ben has 2 talents, that and music. All right. Mm-hmm. Lee wants Adams to have a big game. We'll see. We'll see.
He might eat Slay for dinner.
If they single him up, you never know.
They're probably gonna.
Woohoo. All right. I got to go to the bathroom.
Whoa,
everybody,
gross.
Have a good, not as gross as what you talk about with your soft tub story. It's a number 1.
That poor lady's face. Peeked right in her face. And then I had to sell her stuff right after. Well, 20 minutes later. I couldn't just stay waiting for. I'm sure people stole stuff. I don't know. I wasn't even out there watching the store.
Look for our live post game after.